Sawadee good morning and welcome to Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand, FM 88 and NBT World. Today is Sunday, July 19th, 2015. My name is Suraphalaut Tharanarit. And as usual, let's start off with Thailand moves forward. In our first story, Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha has instructed the Ministry of Interior to survey drought-hit areas across the country in another move to step up assistance measures. According to General Prayuth, he is particularly concerned with farmers in the central region, where the prolonged dry season remains unabated, whereas other regions have already experienced rainfalls thanks to the successful rain enhancement operations and the arrival of the rainy season. Although cloudbursts have somewhat helped replenish water in main dams, Deputy Spokesperson of the Prime Minister's Office, Major General Sansern Keaokamneut, still urged farmers not to pump water into their fields during this period, explaining that the influence of seawater invasion would be significant between July 17th and 20th. A large amount of fresh water is therefore needed to prevent consumption water from turning brackish. The government has reconfirmed it would adjust its water management plan to better serve the need of all groups of consumers once the situation returns to normal. Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha presided over a meeting of the State Enterprises Policy Commission, or the Super Board of subsidiary companies. The meeting focused on the State Enterprises Policy Office, or SEPO's, new guidelines on the supervision of state enterprises subsidiary companies. SEPO said that any state enterprise that plans to set up a subsidiary company needs to obtain approval from the policy committee that oversees these agencies. The said state enterprise needs to establish whether the subsidiary company will be privatized or partly state-owned. The issue was raised after a number of subsidiary companies have been set up without government supervision. Other proposals tabled at the meeting included guidelines to improve regulations and transparency for all state-owned enterprises by setting up a holding organization and a regulatory body. Prime Minister General Prayuth Chan-o-cha has insisted that all infrastructure projects require support from the people in order to be able to move forward. Speaking on his weekly TV program, Returning Happiness to the People, Prime Minister Prayuth said the government is proceeding with its planned infrastructure projects, such as the development of energy and garbage management systems and the construction of power plants and seaports. He added that responsible agencies are making sure the projects do not have adverse effects on the environment or the livelihood of the locals. However, the Premier admitted some projects could have a slight impact on residents, in which case compensation would certainly be provided for all affected individuals. According to him, a problem that is more of a cause for concern at present is the people's voicing of opposition to the projects during public forums. Prime Minister Prayuth has instructed his deputies and related ministers to compile problems from all projects in a bid to find effective solutions to them. He therefore called on the public to be open-minded and allow the projects to be realized for their own benefit, saying their support is vital. Deputy Prime Minister for Security Affairs General Prawit Wongsuwan is confident that 4 months of hard work by Thai authorities to combat IUU fishing will satisfy the European Union and possibly rid Thailand of the yellow card warning. His optimism came after a meeting on IUU fishing suppression that he chaired on Friday. He said during the past 4 months, Thai authorities have worked so hard to meet the EU's 6-month deadline to eradicate illegal fishing practices. Law amendment is a big part left incomplete so far, he added, saying that the government would set up a consultant team to check words and their usage in the revised law. This will be done in parallel with raising understanding of NGOs and foreign countries towards the progress of the measures Thailand has taken. General Prayuth highlighted that a success in the government's efforts was a reduction in the number of illegal fishing vessels from 7,000 previously to 3,000. As for unlicensed ships which are unable to bring the boat out to the sea, the government has assigned the Royal Thai Navy to discuss possible solutions with them. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, has passed the first draft of the Reserve Forces Bill. The bill was presented by the Cabinet and was well received by the NLA, who called for units concerned to clearly state the Reserve Forces' duties, training period, and benefits to the state. Deputy Defense Minister General Udom Sithabut explained to the NLA meeting that a National Reserve Forces Committee would be set up to be headed by a person holding a position higher than a minister, as reserve forces would be recruited from many ministries. He indicated that the military recruits approximately 45,000 members in reserve forces in normal conditions each year. He also elaborated that reserves would undergo training that lasts approximately 2 months for each batch. After General Udom De's report, the NLA proceeded to pass the first reading of the bill with a 189 to 0 votes and 4 abstentions. The bill was then forwarded to an extraordinary committee for scrutiny within 60 days. The Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, has decided to impose the penalty of a lifetime ban from politics for any politician found guilty of corruption. CDC spokesman General Lertrat Ratanawanit said that the meeting of the charter drafters concerning pending clauses of the draft constitution has heard the discussion end with an agreement that people who are guilty of corruption should be banned for life from running in any general election. The meeting also decided to keep the punishment in place for people who have falsified their wealth records or abused power. At the same time, the CDC has amended the provision related to those who have been impeached for unusual wealth, suspected corruption, or abuse of power, especially for people working in the judicial branch. After the amendment, these people would not be allowed to run in the general election as well. General Lertrat said that all the changes were intended to be in line with the interim constitution. The Ministry of Commerce plans to expand the number of its Nunit Pachim food shops offering reasonable prices to 3,000 nationwide this year, according to Director General of the Internal Trade Department, Bunyarit Kalayanamit. 1 year after its launch in 2014, there are around 2,900 shops participating in the project. The majority, or 1,600 shops, are in Bangkok, whereas 1,300 others are spreading all over the country. The objective of the program is to expand the opportunity of the public to buy safe and ready-made food at fair prices. To achieve that goal, the Ministry of Commerce will open 200 to 300 more shops in the capital city by the end of 2015. He said that the ministry is to launch an online application entitled Hunting the Cryptic Lower-Priced Foods in order to help people locate the participating food shops. The app is under the testing process. The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, has launched the FDA Smart Application version 2 to help the public check information of dietary supplements. Deputy Permanent Secretary for Public Health, Dr. Suriya Wongkongkhathep, launched the application's version 2 after the success of the first version, which won a Public Relations Award in 2014. FDA Smart version 2 has more search options and games. Users can check information of dietary supplements and food labels and receive news from the application, now available for download on Android and iOS. Thai primary students have put the country under the academic spotlight after bagging a number of medals from the Primary Mathematics World Contest in Hong Kong. The country's representatives have brought back home 4 golds, 16 silvers, 5 bronzes, and 8 honorable mentions. They have also been awarded the first runner-up trophy in the team category. 15 countries participated in the competition. According to the team's leader, the organizers have, in addition, conferred another trophy on the Thai students for their outstanding cultural performance. The Primary Mathematics World Contest, which started in 1997, serves as an academic competition for middle school students. This year, it was held between July 12th and 17th. The students who returned to Bangkok on Saturday were greeted by the board of directors of the Basic Education Commission, their teachers, and friends. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 9th core value, being conscious and mindful of actions in line with His Majesty the King's royal statements.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Physical connectivity. Institutional connectivity, and people-to-people connectivity. The power to turn this region into a strong community. Witness the interconnectivity between the 10 Southeast Asian countries in ASEAN Connect via these channels.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Deputy Transport Minister Akom Term Pitayapaisit has presided over the inauguration of the country's first truck resting area in the northeastern province of Nakhon Ratchasima. The establishment of the truck resting area is to accommodate the Ministry of Transport's policy of reducing traffic accidents and fostering transport safety and connectivity in preparation for the emergence of the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC. A budget of 44 million baht has been approved for the construction. The newly opened truck resting area in Nakhon Ratchasima is the country's first facility of its kind, especially designed for truck drivers. The 22-rai rest area comprises parking lots for trucks and passenger vehicles, washrooms, food outlets, and convenience stores. Security cameras have also been installed around the area to ensure safety. The Department of Highways is planning to build 41 similar facilities across the country. The Department of Business Development, or DBD, has urged local companies to improve the quality of their services by obtaining the ISO 9001 certification in preparation for the fast-approaching ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC. According to DBD Deputy Director General Ratana Thienwisit-Sakul, since the year 2011, 268 logistics companies in Thailand have been ISO 9001 certified, and 100 more have been urged to acquire the certificate. The move would help prepare businesses for the advent of the AEC at the end of this year, the Deputy Director General said. She is also confident that the improvement in the logistics sector would benefit Thailand's transportation and trade industries. In an overview report of the logistics sector, Thai Federation on Logistics President Wisan Chanset said the sector suffered a 2% contraction during the first half of this year, due mainly to the ailing global economy. He, however, believes the local economy remains healthy thanks to the nation's geographical advantage that places Thailand at the center of ASEAN. He also suggested that investors keep an eye on the Greek financial crisis, the Thai currency, and the country's ongoing drought crisis in the latter half of the year. Moving on to other news from around the globe. 5 Czechs and their Lebanese driver are missing in Lebanon, a spokeswoman of the Czech Foreign Ministry said on Saturday. Passports, money, and cameras were found inside the Lebanon-registered vehicle in the West Bekaa region, and security services launched an investigation. Kefraya lies east of the capital Beirut and west of the country's border with Syria. She added that the Czech Foreign Minister Lubomir Zaoralek would be in telephone contact with his Lebanese counterpart later. It is not the first time foreigners have gone missing in eastern Lebanon. 7 Estonians riding bicycles in the Bekaa Valley were kidnapped by masked gunmen in 2011 and released after 4 months. Earlier that year, 2 Polish tourists were briefly captured in the Bekaa Valley, but freed after security forces opened fire on their captors at a checkpoint. At least 2 people were killed and more than 20 injured in a stampede as security forces struggled to control a crowd of over 1 million Hindu devotees gathered for the annual Chariot Festival in the eastern Indian coastal town of Puri on Saturday. Security forces were struggling to control the crowd. The injured were taken to local hospitals, and those in a serious condition were taken to a medical college in the city of Cuttack, about 80 kilometers from Puri. Nearly 2 million devotees streamed into Puri for the annual festival of Hindu god Jagannath, with at least 1 million congregating on the main road leading to the Jagannath temple. The festival has been celebrated for the last 1,000 years. Devotees traditionally pull 3 giant chariots, nearly 45 feet high, with thick ropes amid frenzied chanting of hymns. It commemorates Lord Krishna's return to his home in Vrindavan after a long period. The English word juggernaut is derived from Juggernaut's chariot. Greeks on Saturday were unimpressed by Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras' cabinet reshuffle that expelled dissidents who voted against reforms demanded by international creditors in return for a third bailout package. Tsipras sacked hardline former Energy Minister Panagiotis Lafazanis and 2 deputy ministers on Friday in a change that marked a split with the main leftist faction in the ruling Syriza party following a rebellion over the bailout terms. The deal, approved with the support of opposition parties on Thursday after 39 Syriza rebels withheld their backing, agrees a painful mix of tax hikes, spending curbs, and pension cuts, as well as a rollback of collective bargaining agreements. In addition, 50 billion euros in public assets are to be placed in a special privatization fund to act as collateral for loans of up to 86 billion euros that must now be agreed with European partners. Some Greeks were cautiously optimistic about the future of Tsipras' government, but others saw the reshuffle and the bailout deal as a betrayal of voters' hopes. Negotiations on the package are set to begin next week after parliaments in Germany and other European countries gave their assent, and European authorities approved emergency funding that should enable Athens to avoid defaulting on a 3.5 billion euro debt repayment due on Monday. Nelson Mandela's former wife, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, celebrated Mandela Day on Saturday by hosting a group of 140 elderly citizens at the family restaurant in Soweto. The day was marked by giving away blankets and food parcels, which were donated during 67 minutes of public service to honor the 67 years of Mandela's humanitarian service. Madikizela Mandela called for the day to better benefit the people and not to be used as a marketing campaign for businesses. Others paid tribute to Mandela on this day of remembrance. With the challenges South Africa faces, another woman, Gogo Futsana, said she believed the country had been better off under Mandela. Locals and tourists visited a popular mud festival in the South Korean coastal city of Boryong, located about 190 kilometers southwest of Seoul. People flocked to get messy at the city's 18th annual mud festival, which started on Friday and last year attracted over 3.2 million people, according to event organizers. Some areas of the festival site allowed revelers to play in an abundance of grayish goo at mud wrestling pits, mud prisons, and in mud baths. The mayor of Boryong, Kim Dong-il, hoped the festival would go global. The festival will continue until July 26th. And that's a wrap for today's edition of Newsline. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or visit our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. And for now, we're going to say goodbye with a pair of 3-month-old African servo kittens at the San Diego Zoo playing with our new toys. I'm Surapat Lautaranarit. Thank you for your company and have a wonderful day. สวัสดีครับ